You're about to see 4 grocery store ripoffs that are quietly costing American families hundreds of dollars, and almost none of it comes from the prices actually going up. It comes from tricks built directly into the store itself, the packaging, and even the checkout line, all designed to work on you without you ever noticing, trip after trip, year after year. Before we get into it, if you're new here, like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell because I break down exactly how these systems work so you can shop smarter, not scared. You genuinely don't want to miss the next one. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to watch for, and I'll give you 3 simple habits that protect you from almost all of it at once every single time you shop. I promise you at least one of these has already cost you real money this year without you realizing it. Let's start with number 4. At number 4, Shrinkflation, the ripoff that doesn't touch the price tag at all. It touches what's inside the package instead. Here's how it works. The price on the shelf stays exactly the same, or maybe it goes up just slightly. But the actual product inside the box, bag, or bottle quietly gets smaller. Fewer chips in the bag. Less cereal in the box. A little less coffee in the can. Government researchers who studied this exact pattern found that packaged food sizes shrank by an average of nearly 15% over just a several-year stretch. And depending on the category, the real per-unit price increase hidden inside that shrinkage ranged from around 12% all the way up to over 30%, even when the sticker price barely moved. What makes this one particularly effective is timing. Companies rarely raise the price and shrink the package at the same time. They do it in stages. First, the price goes up on the same size package. Then, once shoppers have adjusted to that new price, the package quietly gets smaller while the price holds steady. Each individual step feels small enough that almost nobody notices. But stacked over a few years, one detailed analysis found the exact same basket of common grocery brands now cost a family of 4 several $100s more per year than it did just a handful of years ago, purely from this stacking effect. That's real money leaving your bank account year after year without a single price tag ever appearing to go up. The genuinely frustrating part is that most packaging gives you no warning at all. There's no label that says, now 20% smaller. In plenty of documented cases, the price goes up first, and once shoppers adjust to that, the package shrinks on top of the new higher price, meaning some products effectively get hit twice within just a couple of years. You have to notice on your own, which is exactly why the vast majority of consumers say they've been surprised by this at least once without realizing it until they got home and started actually using the product. You won't believe what's coming up next, because this one doesn't happen at the shelf. It happens the moment you scan your own groceries. Number 3, self-checkout scanning errors. And this is the one that's gotten worse, specifically because stores keep pushing more of us towards scanning our own groceries. Here's the mechanic. A price on the shelf tag doesn't always match what the register actually charges once you scan it. Sometimes a sale ended and nobody pulled down the old promotional sign. Sometimes a price changed in the system but the physical shelf label never got updated. Sometimes a bulk bin item like coffee beans or bagged candy gets keyed in under the wrong lookup code, 1 digit off from the bin right next to it, and suddenly you're paying a completely different rate per pound than what was posted. Deli, meat, and seafood items sold by weight carry their own version of this same problem, where the scale sticker reflects one price per pound, but the register was never updated to match it. Government pricing studies have found real, measurable overcharge rates at grocery store checkouts, and self-checkout makes the problem worse in a specific way. When a cashier scans your groceries, there's a second set of eyes on the transaction, someone who might catch an obvious mismatch. At a self-checkout kiosk, that second set of eyes is gone entirely. The full responsibility for noticing a wrong price falls completely on you, while you're bagging groceries, half distracted, moving as fast as possible to get out the door. This isn't a rare, isolated glitch either. Pricing accuracy investigations across multiple states have found mismatches between labeled and scanned prices in a genuinely significant share of stores checked, sometimes affecting well over half the stores inspected, and even higher among smaller independent retailers. In at least one documented case, a major retail chain settled for hundreds of thousands of dollars after inspectors found hundreds of items ringing up higher than the price on the shelf. That's one chain, one inspection. Scale that pattern across every grocery trip you take over the course of a year. A handful of dollars here, a handful there, and the overcharges most people never notice or bother to dispute quietly add up into real, meaningful money over time. The habit that catches this every time, Actually, watch the screen as each item scans, not just the final total. If something rings up higher than what the shelf or scale sticker said, stop right there and flag an employee before you pay, not after. Once you've left the store, getting that money back becomes a whole separate hassle most people simply don't bother with, which is exactly why these errors are so profitable at scale. You're not going to see this next one coming because it's not a mistake at all. It's completely intentional, and it's been engineered by people who study exactly how your eyes move through a store. Wait before we continue. Don't just get smart in your grocery, be also smart online. Many scammers and fraudsters' operations are online. They track every website you visit, every search you run, and every message you send. Your internet provider, your router, that coffee shop Wi-Fi from last Tuesday, all of it logged, all of it for sale. NordVPN fixes that. One app encrypts your connection, masks your IP, and now includes a built-in antivirus that blocks malware and phishing in real time. Over 9,500 servers, up to 10 devices, dark web monitor included. Check the link in the description and get 76% off right now plus 3 months free. At number 2, eye-level shelf placement. And this is the ripoff that doesn't require a single price tag to be wrong. It just requires you to grab the first thing you see. Here's what's actually happening on every single aisle you walk down. Retail researchers have a blunt phrase for it. Eye level is buy level. Products placed directly at your eye height sell dramatically better than identical or nearly identical products placed just a foot above or below, and that's not an accident of store design. Manufacturers pay real money, often described as a slotting fee, specifically to secure that exact shelf position, sometimes running into the thousands of dollars per store for a single product, multiplied across hundreds or thousands of store locations nationwide. What ends up on that prime real estate is almost never the best value. It's the product with the highest profit margin for the store and the manufacturer, which is often the priciest option in the entire category. Meanwhile, the store brand version, frequently made with nearly identical ingredients, it's pushed down to the bottom shelf where you have to physically crouch and look for it. Cereal aisles take this even further. Adult eye level holds the expensive national brands, while the shelf just below, positioned at exactly a child's eye height, sitting in a cart, holds the sugary, brightly packaged cereals marketed directly at kids who can't read a price tag but absolutely can point and ask. Even the coffee aisle follows the same pattern, with the expensive national brand sitting exactly where a hurried shopper's eyes land first, while the private label version, often brewed from nearly identical beans, sits quietly on a lower shelf nobody bothers to check. None of this is illegal, and none of it involves anyone lying to you. It's simply built to take advantage of the fact that most shoppers grab the first familiar option they see and keep moving, without ever glancing up or down to compare. Over the course of a year of weekly shopping trips, consistently grabbing the eye-level option instead of the better value alternative, just one shelf away adds up to a genuinely significant, entirely avoidable difference in your total grocery spending. The fix takes about 5 extra seconds per aisle. Before you grab anything, glance one shelf up and one shelf down. In an enormous number of cases, you'll find the same product, or something extremely close to it, sitting quietly at a noticeably lower price just outside your natural sightline. This next one might be the sneakiest of all, because it's disguised as the smart, responsible choice. The one that's supposed to save you money. Taking the number 1 spot, the bulk size illusion, because this is the ripoff that convinces you you're being financially responsible while actually costing you more. The logic feels bulletproof. Bigger package, lower price per unit, obviously the smarter buy, and most of the time that logic holds up. But field testing that directly compared regular size and bulk size versions of the exact same products across multiple stores found something a lot of shoppers don't expect. Bulk sizes don't always come with a lower unit price at all. In some cases tested, there was no unit price savings whatsoever between the small size and the value size. In others, the bulk option was priced almost identically per ounce, meaning all you actually gained by buying bigger was a larger upfront bill and more products sitting in your pantry. Here's the part that makes this one especially sneaky. Manufacturers know shoppers assume bulk automatically means cheaper, so that assumption alone does a lot of the selling. The value size label and the larger package do the psychological work, while the actual unit price, sitting in small print on the shelf tag, quietly tells a completely different story if you bother to look. Warehouse Club memberships add another layer entirely, since you're paying an upfront membership fee on top of the products themselves, which means the bulk size needs to save you enough to justify that membership cost before it's actually saving you anything at all. And even when the unit price genuinely is lower, there's a second trap hiding inside the first one. A meaningful share of everything Americans buy in bulk never actually gets used before it spoils or gets tossed out, especially with perishable items, and estimates on the total value of wasted household food in America run into the hundreds of dollars per person every single year. A lower price per ounce doesn't save you a single dollar if a third of what you bought ends up in the trash. Add that wasted food on top of the money already lost to shrinkflation, scanner errors, and shelf placement, and the combined total across a single year of shopping easily climbs into the thousands for an average household. Even though not one individual ripoff on this list feels dramatic by itself, the single question that defeats this every time: do the math yourself, right there in the aisle, dividing total price by the actual quantity, and be honest about whether you'll realistically use all of it before it goes bad. Only about half of shoppers regularly do this simple check, according to consumer research, which means the other half is routinely paying for the illusion of a deal instead of an actual one. Here's the good news. You don't need 4 different defenses for 4 different ripoffs. These 3 habits protect you against almost all of it at once, every time you shop. 1. Always compare unit price, never sticker price. The small number per ounce, per pound, or per count printed on the shelf tag cuts through shrinkflation and the bulk size illusion at the exact same time, because both tricks rely on you looking at the total price instead of the real cost per unit. 2. Watch the screen and check your receipt before you leave. Whether it's a self-checkout kiosk or a regular register, pay attention to what actually rings up, not just the final total. Catching a mismatch on the spot takes 10 seconds. Catching it after you've driven home takes a lot more effort, and most people simply don't bother. 3. Look one shelf up and one shelf down before you grab anything. Eye level is designed to sell you the most profitable option, not the best value. A 5-second glance above and below almost any product will show you exactly what the store didn't want to be the first thing you saw. That's 4 grocery ripoffs quietly costing American families thousands of dollars over time, and 3 habits that protect you from nearly all of them at once. None of this requires clipping coupons for hours or driving across town chasing sales. It just requires knowing where to actually look. If this changed how you're going to shop this week, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which one of these surprised you the most. Share this with someone who does the grocery shopping in your household, because this is exactly the kind of thing that saves real money the very next time they're standing in an aisle. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because there's always another hidden cost in the everyday places we shop, and I'll be right here breaking it down. Stay sharp, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.